So Tom, well, how excited are you to come back to Bloomfield Road for the Legends game and reunite with some old familiar faces?
I think it'd be great to see the lads again. You know, we're on a group chat where we keep in touch, and everybody wishes everyone best when they get new jobs or they're moving on. They're still a fantastic bunch. You know, they deserve all the credit they get, and it'd be great to see them back here. And I think it gives them to see the fans to see them as well. And I think it'd be interesting to see what shape some of them come back in as well. So it's I'm looking forward to it. And it's for a great cause as well. Obviously, my wife used to work at Bryan House, and for the Trinity one, it's a worthy cause. So hopefully everyone can get out and support them. And once again, fans to see the lads, and the lads to show their appreciation to the fans. So really looking forward to it.
When you do achieve something great in football, does it bond you together as a group and make you closer than maybe you normally would be?
I think this group, you know, I've had success as a player and as a coach, but this group seemed a little bit special. You know, with Ollie, when Ollie came in and all the lads, it weren't expected how we did it. You know, we knew things weren't right off the pitch. We tried to make it as best we could, but I think that brought us together a bit, and Ollie brought a system that suited our style of play. We had goals in the team. It was exciting to watch. You know, we bounced things off each other, and we just hit it off, me and Ollie. It was just a great place to work. And the best thing I could say probably about the lads, you never knew who was in the team. You know, we had a good dressing room that ran itself. They had that togetherness, and even now you'll see they're still in touch. And so yeah, it was special times.
You know, like met before? Had you crossed paths? Or was that the first time he was thrown in at Blackpool?
I played against Ollie a few times. You know, when he was at Bristol Rovers, obviously I was at Bolton, and I think 2 or 3 times we played each other. I don't think he got close to me, but he tried hard. But no, we like I say, we came in, and as soon as we came in, we just hit it off. You know, we trusted each other. He brought this momentum and style of play that was exciting to watch. You know, we feared no one. But I think the thing about it, we had a bunch of players that took us to where we wanted to go. You know, we had that experience. We had the lone ones coming in. We had some good young ones coming through as well, and the experienced ones helped them as well. And it was some great memories and happy times. The team race picked itself, unless we got injuries and things like that. But you know, I was like a little bit of a buffer for the players to come to me to make things right, to pass it on to our. As an assistant, as a number 2, what you try and do, you try and keep all the problems away from the manager, unless you're desperate to get in to get involved in that, which was very rare, because you know his focus was on the first team, like we all were. But the thing about it, like I said, the lads that we had here, you just get that feel good factor. You know, you had lads in some of the. I always say as a coach to the players, go and do something that we can't coach, and we had that in the dressing room. That we had match winners. You know, we had lads that could defend. We had experienced lads. We had good talkers, and the ones that weren't in the team, we never, you know, we kept them fit, because you never know when you need it, and they bought into everything as well. So it was a good dressing room as well.
Is this one of the rare times that you all get together in person to do something?
I think I've heard on the Great Rhyme that sometimes that they'll go and meet up in Lytham. I think they've met up at 1 or 2 occasions. Obviously, with various lads living away, the games and that, so it's probably hard for them to meet and that. But like I say, they're on this WhatsApp group at the moment that's quite entertaining when you're watching stuff on that. You can look back and see some of the stories, but yeah, I'm sure that every chance they get, they do meet up, and they all keep in touch. I keep in touch with a lot of players. They ring me up asking for a little bit of advice and all that, and it's always nice just that they ring up and they still want that advice off you.
You've had your first share of caretaker stints here, so you look forward to getting back in that dugout and taking charge of a team.
It's going to be good, because, like I say, it's a great cause. I don't know how long some of them are going to last. So it's going to be everyone said it's going to be it's a great cause and it's a fun day, but you know full well when they go out there they're going to take it serious. They don't want to make fools of themselves. So I think some of them have been training now to try and get themselves fit. But the main thing is it's for the fans, it's for the players. Let's get that little bit of feel-good factor back at Blackpool, and also it's for a fantastic local cause.
Obviously, Stephen Dobbie's played a big role in getting everyone back. He's done a lot of calling around, so I've heard. Is it good to see him sort of in the club and obviously coaching under Steve Bruce now?
Yeah, you like I say, Dobbs was. I've always said this through my coaching career. I thought Dobbs was the best finisher that I've worked with as a striker. Great character. Great to see him doing his coaching badges. He's learning all the time. I'm sure one day he'll step up to be a manager. He's at a club with a great manager, great assistant, who we can learn off with them. But Dobbs, as like I say, he's keeping them in touch. He'll talk to him. I'll go down to the training ground again, hopefully go and see him again just to sort out who's playing and everything like that. But yeah, I'm delighted with Dobbs because, like I say, it's that gradual progression from from the youth team setup into the first team setup, and I'm sure it won't be long before he's a number one somewhere.
Obviously, Blackpool's had a great history of player successes. And you've got that rare thing of experiencing both, and along with some of the players. So 2007 against Yeovil, what was that like?
It was just one of those. We thought we was going to play Forest because Yeovil, obviously, Forest at Forest. We've had them in the playoffs before as well. So, but I think most people thought it was going to be against Forest and that. But on the day, Yeovil beat them at the City Ground. We come to Wembley. Even then, we had Robbie Williams. I think he curled the free kick in, and then Keegan Parker, who could be anything on his day. Keegan, you hear the stories and that, but he was a cracking player and that. So that was the 2-0 win against Yeovil, which was, I think that started the ball rolling because I was working with Simon and Tony Parks. Obviously, I played with Simon at Leicester. Tony Parks, when my dad was manager at Buxton, he signed him and sold him on to Blackburn. So there's a little bit of history between me and Tony and our family in that. Very sad what's happening at the moment with Tony. But it was great for me and Simon to learn off. That was, as an experience. Weren't a man of many words, but when he talks, he commanded your respect. And when we got into the championship, I think that got the ball rolling because you got a nucleus of a good team there that we tried to keep together.
What was a young Simon Grayson like, heading into his first coaching job, having been a player in that dressing room?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was at Leicester together, so we got on. I got on well with Simon. I got promoted from the head of recruitment, head of academy, head of youth at Blackpool. I did that many jobs. I sometimes forget which one I were and that. So, but yeah, I managed to get the youth team set up and organised there. Then got brought into first team coach to replace Hazer Hartford. I think the one thing about Simon, Tony, is that trust as a coach. We got on very well as players. Obviously, we had success at Leicester, and we had the experienced number 2 in Tony Parks. But Simon came in with his own ideas. He wanted to be a number one, and you can see that. Look at the clubs that he's managed. He has been successful with what he's done and that. So it was good times working. And I say that was the first Wembley appearance for Blackpool. I think that literally showed that once you get a good team and a good team spirit, it can take you to places where people don't expect you to.
The phrase football fairy tale is probably overused sometimes, but that's what Blackpool reaching the Premier League was. So what was that, a return to Wembley like to get to the top tier?
Well, when you look back there, I can always remember, that people say which was your best games that you enjoyed it, but I still say it was the Forest away at the City Ground that got us to Wembley. I think on the night there, I think we played some tremendous football. Playing Cardiff there, and I can remember doing the warm-up and going out there, and I looked at the thermometer and it was absolutely roasting. So I tried to do as much as a warm-up as I could in the shadows of the stands and that. And then you just see Charlie's free kick that we used to work on after training. It was just a special day when you see a sea of tangerine at Wembley and all that. And it was a 3-2, so it was what I think we knew we had a good team there. We had a manager that believed in everyone, treated everyone absolutely fantastic. His man management with the players was second to none. And we had a team there that bought into all his ideas of how to play. We used to work on shape, we used to work on, we'd go out there working on the shape and different. And we just trusted each other as coaches. And I think they got the rewards that they justifiably deserved. And they going into the Premiership, which is everyone's dream. When you look back now, it just seems like a distant memory. We just wish we could have left a little bit more of a legacy for Blackpool. If we could have just stayed in that Premiership for another season or another 2 seasons and got the money in. And you see some of the clubs that are in the Premiership now. Not disrespecting them, but Blackpool could have been as good as them. You know, they've invested well, they've spent the money well. That's what we wanted to do, me and Ollie at Blackpool.
Did the final against West Ham Tuesday just feel like end of the line stuff, sort of a point where things started to go more downhill for Blackpool and instead of looking up?
Yeah, I think when you looked at that one, it was disappointing because, you know, with the Vaz take goal later on in the game, obviously Tom Ince equalised, and it just, if you look back through the game, we had so many good chances. That was a frustrating thing that we thought on the day we probably should have won it with the chances that we created in that. And I think coming to the end of that one there, you look there that could we hold on to the players any longer, the ones that, you know, obviously clubs were watching them. Could we take them any further? You know, some of them we thought, have we seen the best of them now? So it was that transition there. And that was a frustrating one because I think we deserved that one there. The West Ham one, I think, you know, when they scored later on, it just deflated us a little bit with that one, as well as we played. So that was a disappointing one. I think when you look there, you think we either had to go in and revamp the team and get more players in, or rely on the same ones again. But I think the hard thing is when you've got them sort of players there, you know, they can get their head turned with money. They're only human, you know. If people are coming in, and as well as they do in the Championship and the Premiership, there are always the big clubs there that we can't match them. And as long as we get the right price from and the right fee for them, I think, you know, inevitably they're going to go. But it's the wages when you're talking life-changing money, it's hard to keep someone.
And just finally on yourself, obviously you're back in the dugout for a Legends game, but what's the future looking like for yourself? Able to get back in?
Yeah, I'm still always looking. You know, I've turned jobs down locally, I've turned jobs down south, I've turned abroad. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. I'm doing a support work for a great group called Sunrise. I'm doing a lot of individual coaching for a group in London, which has really took off. I'm doing all the BBC for obviously Radio Lancs, Radio Leicester. I'm enjoying that. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. You know, it's got to be right. I've got a great family at home that, you know, I'm in no rush with 3 kids, 4 grandkids, a great supportive wife who's helped me throughout my career, and all the family have come to it. They still come to watch the Blackpool games now. So I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. It's you know, it's got to be good for me to move, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. I'm still involved with it. I still think I've got a lot to offer. You know, people mention about your age and things like that, but you know, you see these up and coming coaches they fail and they say, well, they haven't got the experience. But I still think, you know, even now you never stop learning from the young ones coming in. But yeah, I'm ready to get back in when it's right.